Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Friday, September 26, 2025 and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Warid Ahmed, and we've got a packed show for you today. For our headlines today, we're going to go over how the Saudi Crown Prince has ordered a 5-year freeze on Riyadh rent hikes. I know that this is exciting for many. It's the biggest news. It's the biggest news of the day, and a really intriguing one. Abu Dhabi's MGX has joined Oracle and Silver Lake in the TikTok US possible takeover, and the UAE has warned against AI misuse to spread misinformation about public figures. I hope that a lot of you are really hearing the warning here. And at the end of the show, we'll have a special interview with Atinirmal Pagarani, Managing Director of Yogi Real Estate, who will share his insights on real estate and building a lasting business in Dubai.
Very first story, very big story. Saudi Arabia has announced sweeping rental reforms for Riyadh following directives from Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman himself. Effective September 25, which was yesterday, 2025, landlords cannot increase rent on residential or commercial properties for 5 years. The move aims to curb soaring prices, improve transparency, and ensure fairness in the capital's rental market.
Key measures include mandatory registration of all rental contracts on the government's Ijar platform with automatic renewals unless either party provides 60 days notice. Landlords cannot refuse renewals except in cases of non-payment, structural safety issues, or personal use by the landlord or immediate family, ensuring tenant security and stability.
And for previously rented but now vacant units, new rent must match the last recorded lease. First-time leases will be set by agreement between landlord and tenant. Appeals are allowed if a unit has undergone major renovations or prior leases predate 2024, with the real estate authority reviewing such requests.
Violations of the rules may result in fines up to 12 months' rent, along with compensation to affected tenants. Whistleblowers reporting breaches can receive up to 20% of collected fines. I think I love that. And authorities will monitor enforcement, track rental trends, and issue guidance to clarify rights and responsibilities for landlords and tenants.
And the reforms are part of a broader effort to rebalance Riyadh's rental market, strengthen contractual fairness, and create a secure, transparent investment environment. Officials have said the measures support sustainable urban development, enhance quality of life, and encourage long-term confidence in the city's residential and commercial real estate sectors.
Honestly, this is so exciting.
All the comments on the post are, please can we do this in UAE? But to be honest, to be fair, UAE already has a very nice system in place where you can't increase rents if the rental index in that area is not very big. For example, in my area, you see the average rent and then you see if you want to increase it 10%. 10% is the general rule. You can increase it 10% every year, but not more than that. Even if you want to do it more than that, like 15-20%, it should match the average area rent. For example, if in my area, the rent is 50,000 for 1 BHK, and 1 year I take it at 50,000, I'm happy. The next year, if the average rent of that place grows to 75,000, then maybe landlord can appeal and say that, oh, this is very less, the average rent of this area is 75, so let me increase it more than 10%. Otherwise, they can't increase it more than 10%.
Look, you know what I think it is with this entire story, Majid? You know, other than how great Crown Prince Salman of Saudi Arabia is doing, you know, we're clearly seeing that, you know, his rise to leadership has been very impactful for the kingdom and especially for the kingdom's economy, not just, you know, for real estate, you know, this will make a lot of people happy, but a lot of things. I think with him, and I don't think that it's really discussed enough, he really ushered in a new modern movement and, you know, a new economy into Saudi almost, you know. Cinema is becoming unbanned. You know, the artistry in the country growing, the real estate in the country growing. And I know you're asking yourself, like, we're on a business show, why am I talking about art? And it's important for these things to come back because architecture, buildings, real estate, for it to be built and for it to be successful, it's not just the infrastructure that must stand tall, but the appearance of everything altogether. So I think that his impact there, it's very significant. You know, the fact that he, you know, he is the founder of Humane. If you think about it, Saudi Arabia's new artificial intelligence company. So for me, when I saw this story, honestly, I just saw it as, yes, another really great thing that the Crown Prince has done. No, seriously, that's really what I thought.
And what I've seen and what I've heard from people, you listen to him speak very less often. Very rarely you'll see a speech. When Trump came, he made a speech in Arabic. It was a very nice, very short, very to the point speech. And whatever you hear about him is from the people who are around him. Yasser Al-Rumayyan, the Minister of Finance, the this of this, the
Princess
every
Reem.
anyone, whoever is saying anything or discussing anything, and they're doing it anywhere. If you're sitting with Bloomberg, CNBC, if they're sitting with literally anyone, and they're talking about anything, they make it like 100% sure that they refer to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, his vision, his leadership. And that shows you that the people around you value you so much. And people only value you for two reasons. Either they have some vested interest, which I don't think any one of them has. All of them are working to make Saudi Arabia great because at the end of the day, everyone benefits from it. Or the second thing is you actually put that person in that position in your brain that this person, whenever he says something or whenever he wants something done, he has a good intention behind it. And I think it's both. All the people who talk about him, they have both intentions. They love him for the vision that he has, the way he wants to grow Saudi Arabia into one of the biggest dominant forces.
Vision 2030.
Yeah. And second, it is also that they are to an extent selfish, that they see that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman wants the country to become good, and eventually it also helps them. It helps the population, which is like 75% Saudi population, and out of that, I think 75%, nearly or more than half is youngsters who want jobs, who want to run businesses, who want to contribute to the economy. So whatever you hear about him, a lot of people say that, oh, it's kind of a, as per in Claudia, Anthropic founder's words, there's dictatorship. But the main idea here is that there is a ruler who everyone loves because he works for the people.
No, but there
no
clearly
ruler in
is
the world,
evidence.
I think, will ever do this.
I think there's clear evidence, but just like on the topic of like rents, Majid, I think, you know, us mentioning all of those laws and those fines, you know, to some of you it may just pass your ear and you maybe don't care, but this stuff is so important. I remember that I knew a family 2 years ago. Basically what happened is in the UAE they have a law, like say you are renting out your house, Majid, you're renting it out to a tenant, and then you come to this tenant and you're like, hey, you know, we want you to leave now. We're going to occupy this house. So what this had happened to this family is that they had asked their tenant, who had been there for like I think a good few years, to leave because they wanted to occupy the house. But then when they actually came to occupy the house themselves, they realized, you know, this is not within our budget. We can't live here. So they did tell their tenant with good intention that they want to live there. They tried. But then they were like, okay, then let's rent it out to another person. I'm pretty sure in the UAE, you have to wait a year. Before you can rent out the house to another tenant.
If the reason for pushing the other tenant out was that you're moving in. And some people actually use it in the wrong sense also, but again,
but in their case, they were really genuine, but they didn't know the law. They didn't know the law. They had rented it out to someone else after they had tried to occupy it themselves. And what essentially happened is their past tenant had seen that.
And
they had come around. They had come around the community. They had peeked and, you know, saw, and they were like, let me go, you know, raise a lawsuit about this. And obviously, when it comes to the law, in fact, the law will favor the tenant. It will favor the tenant, especially if you have a family unit. And I think in this case, it really worked out for that tenant because she was a single mother with 2 children. But you can clearly see the case of both people here and have empathy for both of them. But honestly, my moral of that entire story, Majid, was you need to know the real estate laws that are happening.
If you're going to own something, if you want to live in it, perfect. Majorly, it's maintenance that you pay every year, and then there's property tax that you pay every year. Apart from that, there is nothing something big. But if you're renting it out, there's so many safeguards
There is.
to keep the tenants safe, because you can easily exploit them. You can put them at a 50K, 1 BHK in 1 year, and next year say, I need 75, 80K for this. So there's a lot of safeguards, a lot of laws, a lot of things which are there just to safeguard the tenant. And to be honest, it's not just the tenant. The landlord also has a lot of favors that go, laws which go in his favor. So it's a very nice, delicate balance. Most importantly, Riyadh is now becoming a hub of activity. Every event that you see, the big events, we recently saw Money 2020 finish. There's so much construction going on because they want to build infrastructure for Expo 2030 and for the 2034 World Cup.
But it's not just infrastructure in Saudi, you know? Like, it's not just the $500 billion neon megacity.
Yeah.
Remember that story that came out about the Ahmar billionaire, Mohammed Al-Abbar, and the Red Sea Marasi project that had basically involved contractors in Saudi Arabia and the UAE. And I think for me that really stood out, that they're not just, you know, they're not just keeping it in Saudi, you know, they're keeping it to their close Gulf allies and even their Middle Eastern allies. Like, we saw that story in the morning about Syria, about Saudi and Qatar investing into Syria.
$89 million. So main thing is, if you're in Saudi right now, you'll be very happy that your rent is not going to increase. And the very important thing in this was that commercial properties also. So if you're renting out shops and anything, you can't increase the rents as well. There's specifications if you want to do it, how and when and why you can do it. But apart from that, it's a very nice move for the people of Saudi Arabia. But let's move on and talk about one of the another biggest story of the day, Abu Dhabi-based AI investor MGX. I don't know how many times we've done these stories about MGX now. I think people now know what it is. It's taking a stake in TikTok US, joining Oracle and private equity firm Silver Lake. So the deal, approved by the US President Donald Trump, reduces Chinese ownership and allows the social media app to continue operating in the US, in America. And every big publication has reported this. CNBC, Reuters, Bloomberg, everyone is covering this big move.
Now, US Vice President J.D. Vance said that the transaction values TikTok at $14 billion. Now, the three investors will together own a 45% stake, giving each roughly 15%. TikTok's Chinese parent ByteDance, founded in Beijing in 2012, will retain under 20% to comply with a 2024 U.S. law requiring divestment of U.S. assets.
And the new TikTok U.S. board will have 7 members, with American holding 6 seats and ByteDance appointing 1. Bloomberg and Reuters have reported this. This structure ensures U.S. oversight while giving MGX, Oracle, and Silver Lake a voice in governance. The deal reflects strategic moves in U.S. tech and social media regulation.
Now, the agreement followed negotiations between Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, reportedly producing a compromise on TikTok's U.S. ownership, while ByteDance has yet to confirm the deal or amend Chinese regulation. The transaction sets the stage for a significant cross-border investment and strengthens ties between the U.S. and UAE technology sectors.
And lastly, MGX is overseen by His Highness Sheikh Tanoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the guy who's been on the Times 100 most important AI people twice a year now, in 2024 and in the 2025 list. Plans to invest 8 to 10 billion annually in AI. The firm already co-invests with Silver Lake in Intel's Altera unit. We did a story about that. And it also contributes to the $100 billion Stargate AI fund with OpenAI and Oracle, and backs a $30 billion AI infrastructure fund by BlackRock and Global Infrastructure Partners, which also includes XAI now. Musk was the last one to join this $30 billion fund. But yeah, very important that MGX is everywhere now.
It is. And I think for me with this story, it's like, Majid, remember that interview that went completely viral on the internet? And it was basically in court. It was, I believe, about child safety in TikTok, and it was U.S. lawmakers interrogating the Singaporean CEO of TikTok U.S., And they were like, and I remember they asked him a question, are you an American citizen? Are you a Chinese citizen?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, no,
I'm
I'm from Singapore. I have a Singaporean passport. And no, like this question was crazy. They were like, are you affiliated with the Chinese communist community? And he's like, no, I'm not. No,
Singaporean.
by the way, they did not just, it was really like ridiculing. If you go back and you
Yeah.
watch it, they did not just
I've seen
ask
it.
him about himself. They asked him about his children, his family. Like, it, honestly, like I saw it as just a complete, like they were just butchering him, honestly. And I think
it
ever
looks
since that
stupid,
interview,
right?
it is. Ever since that interview, I feel that the U.S. Congress has really been after taking away the ownership of ByteDance. But I think for me, with this entire story, I'm excited that MGX gets a piece of the cake. You know, an investment company founded not so many years ago.
It was last year.
It-
They created
that's-
it last year around
Isn't that
mid-year.
crazy? That's like so mind-boggling. So the fact that, you know, Trump becomes president, you know, MGX magically appears and they're a
Yeah.
part of Stargate US.
It's a part of everything right now, to be
Right?
honest. Yeah.
The $100 billion AI fund. And then they're also one of the companies who are going to lead Stargate UAE.
Yeah.
Basically, it's going to be the largest data center outside of the US.
Yeah.
So I think for me, just like in that sense, them just like magically appearing, silently taking over, that kind of soft power that is there.
I just think such a nice proactive approach. It's not a reactive approach. Whereas you look at PIF, you look at Mubadala, you look at everything that we talk about in this region, QIA, even Oman Investment Authority. You talk about any sovereign wealth fund where you see that the government is leading the idea of investing in this. MGX was like way ahead of everyone. They're like, this is $100 billion. This is what we need to invest, and we need to double it by the end of 2026, 2027. So it's a very straight goal-oriented company. They've invested in XAI. They've invested in all the major AI chatbots and the companies, OpenAI. The only one they haven't done right now, which was reported that they may, and then I think the Claude Anthropic story came out, and they didn't, and then QIA did. That's the only AI company and chatbot which they haven't invested in. Otherwise, they're literally everywhere. Now,
Yeah.
TikTok also. So MGX was created not only for AI, but technological investments. But now, they're like, no, okay,
And
technology also,
remember-
because whenever we talk about
Yeah.
MGX, we always talk about AI investments. But now they have actually started going towards technology as well.
And I remember just like a month ago, we reported how MGX basically invested into this French company
Yeah.
that's building
that
the
one,
largest.
Mistral AI.
Yeah, they're building the largest French data center outside of Paris. But I think for me with this entire story, I much more respect it and I take pride in it because of the fact that, like, thank God it will not be Larry Ellison, the founder and the CEO of Oracle, who will get to just take
Yes.
everything and go ahead with it. You know, you have MGX there standing there, all I believe going to get an equal number of stakes from that 45%. And, you know, just like on the role of Larry Ellison, he has a very interesting position to
Very
play.
interesting history also.
He does. I think, like, just to report it in the most factual way possible, there has been a lot of backfire, and a lot of people are not very happy about Larry Ellison being a part of this because of his close ties to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. Bloomberg had reported that that Ellison had invited Netanyahu to an island that he owns in Hawaii. At some point, the Times of Israel had written about how Larry Ellison had invited Netanyahu to be a board member, a part of his company. I think that the list can really go on. And even in 2017, Larry Ellison had given one of the biggest donations, $16 million to Israel. I forgot the specific name of the organization, but for people that had raised a lot of red flags. So I think for me, what makes me happy is the fact that you have an Arab leader there that has gotten stake, and my Arab content is staying. It is
Yes.
here. It is here to stay.
It's very nice to have a balancing power, and I don't think there's anyone bigger than UAE who is a balancing power. And coming back to the last story of the day, the UAE Media Council has issued a warning against the use of artificial intelligence to depict public figures or national symbols for spreading misinformation. Authorities stress that employing AI in this way violates media content standards and could lead to fines and legal penalties under the media violations regulation.
The council urged social media users, content creators, and media organizations to follow UAE laws and uphold professional and ethical responsibilities. AI-driven defamation, hate speech, or attacks on societal values are explicitly considered media offenses with administrative penalties for violations, reinforcing the country's commitment to responsible digital content.
And the UAE has strengthened oversight of its social media industry amid rising concerns over fake news and harmful content. A new advertising law, effective next month, introduces a permit system which has already issued over 1,800 permits to advertisers from 75 countries, aiming to improve the quality and reliability of digital advertising.
Now, legal proceedings have already been initiated against a social media account for allegedly breaching national advertising rules. The advertisement included unverified medical claims and lacked official approval, violating professional media standards. The council highlighted that strict governance is essential as AI technologies become more widespread in digital media.
And lastly, global concerns over AI misuse are rising. We all know that, with celebrities speaking out against deepfake and voice mimicking technologies used for scams. Hollywood star Scarlett Johansson recently highlighted the risks of AI-generated voices resembling her own, underscoring the need for regulation to prevent malicious exploitation of advanced technologies worldwide. We recently did a story about Al-Abbar also, that people are putting his face, putting a quote and saying, oh, invest like Al-Abbar.
Invest in Palantir.
Yeah. So a lot of things are happening, but we have a guest on the show today. So we'll take a short break, stay with us, and then we'll have Atinirmal with us, and he's going to tell us all about Yogi Real Estate and the Yogi Group. So wait for that. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Smashi Business Show, and today we have a very special guest for us. I was reading his bio and really intrigued me. So we have Atinirmal Pagarani with us. Hello Ati.
Hey Majid, how are you?
He told me to call him Ati, we can do that.
Yeah, please.
And Atinirmal is the managing director of Yogi Group, a Dubai-born family business established over 50 years ago. We'll talk about that. That's very important because I think his family has seen Dubai being built from scratch. What began as a small trading firm has grown into a diversified group, and they span construction, real estate, property management, facilities, retail, everything that you can talk about. And then he's the second generation leader. He emphasizes trust, service, and transparency. He's guiding the group in delivering thousands of successful projects. Ati, how are you today?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
It's a fantastic Friday.
Did you have coffee, water, everything?
Yeah, the double espresso. Your team is superb.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Millie, for always taking care of our guests. But let's start with Yogi Group. Everyone wants to know. And it's the first question that should be asked. Makes sense. What is Yogi Group? How can you tell the details of Yogi Group, and how has it been so pivotal in Dubai's history?
So it is incomplete and it's wrong if I do not mention my late father. I mean, he was with me and now he's very much within me. And over 53 years back, he came in very humble as a janitor, actually. That was his first job in Ali Yusuf Motors. And and life just aligned for him in ways, and I don't think even he knew then that he had the entrepreneurial bug in him. And then life took him places, right place at the right time, and that's how the I would say most of the part of that in those years was property management. That's how it started.
Nice.
And then backward integration, vertical integration, diagonal integration. We went through like every possible integration, and that's when construction came in, real estate, security services, building material trading, manufacturing building materials, producing claddings for the exteriors, scaffolding, holiday homes, security services, a little bit into fashion, a little bit into smart linen management, transport, power generation, forklifts. So yeah, a little bit of everything, but by the grace of God, very good jacks of all of these.
Nice.
And property management is how it all started. Yeah.
And in your words, what sets Yogi's real estate property management model apart? We've told about so many things, but let's focus on property management for once. How do you differentiate yourself from others? What's the USP?
So the USP, I would say, is we are the very experienced, almost known devils.
Yeah.
And I know there's a word which is in my mother tongue, but I'll say it in English. It's called the old rice.
Purana chawal,
Purana chawal.
right?
So we are the old rice. We have seen how property management has evolved from it being just as simple as verbal agreements to handwritten agreements, to contracts in place, to contracts where the government is like, oh, get it stamped by us, to now the government being involved, their websites helping us put the contracts. Nice. So property management in general has evolved, and I think we have evolved alongside, because you know what, we all know the way Dubai has scaled, how it's evolved, and if you're not at pace with the city and with things around it, the tech of it, I mean, you're losing out. So there's a lot Yogi Real Estate has done, and honestly, it's a great job with the team. End of the day, I mean, what are we doing, right?
I live in a house. Everyone lives in a house. Everyone knows about property management. And as a tenant, I sometimes feel someone is lacking. But as landlord, I think sometimes people think, my whatever property management company that I've hired, or the building has hired, or the community has hired is lacking. How do you balance those two sides? Because it's literally knowing both sides of the table, right? So what does a tenant want? What does a landlord? How do you manage that balance where both of them are happy?
If I may ask, are you married?
Yeah, I have a son.
Super, congratulations. And ever thought of balancing wife and mother?
Very difficult, right?
Great. So
you just can try. You can try.
So that's half my answer. But yeah, no, it is something which is extremely important to be in the middle for the landlords. Because at the end of the day, I'm appointed by the landlord. I mean, the company is appointed by the landlords, right? So they are my clients. But it's I would say, unethical if I'm not going to look at the tenants as well. So the balancing of making sure that the landlords are getting to know where their investments are financially, even emotionally, because that's one of the reasons someone has picked up a property or bought a building. And what do tenants want? They need someone to hear them out. It could be they want to push a check by a few days, all fair. Everyone goes through those crunches. It's for them to be heard if there is a leakage in the house. If there is some point of contact, there is some transparency, there is some accountability on both sides. There's somebody who is not only empathetic, because we are humans before we are business people, but somebody who's responsible to react and take action. So we are not trying, we actually, by the grace of God, alhamdulillah, doing almost everything we can. And it's been over 5 decades to do it. So we're in the middle of everything, but in their hearts and in their happy pockets. So,
And again, property management, coming back to it and like widening the lens, Dubai is expecting so many people. There's millionaires coming. Every 2 months we see a report that millionaires are coming. Then we see, a lot of handovers are being done now. Multiple developers, 2026, 2027 are their dates for handovers. Fitch ratings, Moody's, everyone is saying, all of this will happen and people will move in because there is demand. Where do you come in all of this, and how do you see yourself growing in that? Because obviously more communities, more buildings, more business.
More the merrier, right?
Yeah. Right.
So it's a fantastic problem. A lot of people who are coming in, either they're end users who are just renting an apartment. A lot of them are investors who are buying it either for themselves or for ROI or for buy and sale. But there are still a lot of them purely buying it for investments and ROI reasons. We started with mainly the Emirati families decades back, because that's when they were the only nationality who were owning buildings and villas and labor camps and warehouses. Then it moved to GCC. Then it moved to freehold. So the more of people coming into this beautiful melting pot, the more the investors come in, the more the need of a property manager, because landlords don't want to look into the day-to-day issues. They're like, we know how to rent an apartment. It's not rocket science, but we need an expert to do it. It's like sometimes a doctor's job. Sometimes you could go back and use your home remedies to get rid of a skin issue or have a headache. But when you go to an expert can do something what they're doing. They do charge a fee, but you pay and smile. So these investors who are coming in, the people who are buying properties here, they need someone to screen the tenants, figure out what other due diligence needs to be done, collection of rents. A lot of checks bounce. It's not hidden anywhere. But someone needs to coordinate with the government. Someone needs to go to RDC, the Rent Dispute Committee, and liaise with them and make sure that all parties involved are happy and taken care of. So I don't know if that answered the question, but
no, it perfectly answers the question that you need someone in the middle. Because a landlord, if he just wants to rent, if he has multiple properties, he can't go to everyone and collect rents. I think back in the day, maybe he had the time. Now it's not.
And we are in one of the fastest cities in the world. So landlords are very busy. They're like, should I, put my time into managing my 1 or 10 or 20 or 30, 40 units, or should I just give it to an expert and I can do other things as well? Because a tenant is going to call, I'm going to coordinate, I'm going to run around. Why can we put an expert? It's not that I'm not charging an arm and a leg. It's just my service fee, and I'm getting it done for you. So it's literally pay and smile, and landlords are very happy with that.
So time is money.
Definitely.
Their time is definitely
and
money.
We humans, which is the currency we own. The only currency we own is time. So
50, 60, 70, 80 years of life. But can you tell me a story where you've actually firsthand seen that there was a problem which became complicated, but you kind of came in, jumped in and solved it? Like one example, if you can come up with a story, interesting story of property management. Because I think people love stories.
But there are quite a few. But let me talk about this particular one, where the landlord, he and his family thought that they will be able to manage 6 buildings. They were all different sizes. There were
only 6 buildings.
Only 6 buildings. There were a few small ones, few big ones. They're like, and the family was big. The family had about 17, 18 members. They're like, we'll give this to a few kids, give this to a few other people in the family, and they'll manage it. They figured it out a little bit because of experience of doing this for a few years. But then they realized that there is a lot more. So they didn't know that there are a few buildings where there is a tenant who's taken the apartment, but that person is illegally subleasing it. So the landlord gave it to a family. There was a couple who came in. They're like, we have one child, and we have taken the apartment. To their surprise and shock, there were more than 14 to 15 people living in each apartment through the entire building. This was a ground plus 7, including a few apartments on the ground floor. Imagine 80 to 90% of the building they are bachelors, they are, in that time there was a word called khaliwalis. There are people who don't have the visa, they all are in the building and the landlord doesn't know because he just faces the tenant he knows once in a year, and the person's giving the check. The landlord's like, great.
And they're happy, right? I'm getting the money, but they don't know what's actually going inside.
And this landlord doesn't live in Dubai, lives somewhere else. And in a sense, within UAE, but not in Dubai. They're like, we don't have the time to go and see the building. And then the tenant is like, don't worry, if anything goes wrong in the building, I'll maintain it. Because the tenant's illegally subleasing it and making enough money so that that person can try to maintain the property, but the property was a mess. Now the entire thing escalated to a place where obviously the authorities got involved. It was illegal. What was happening was not professional of the tenants. And then this came onto us. And now they were like, take care of this. I was like, okay then. It's like a doctor walking into a midway of the surgery. They don't know the history. They don't know what's happening. But thanks to my team, man, we guys killed it. So it was superb.
Yeah, so how is technology helping you? Because property management, I think normal buildings have been very easy. It's get every tenant whatever he wants, basic stuff. But we've seen technological advancement and how buildings are made now, security-wise, cameras-wise, building-wise, everything, construction-wise, sustainability comes into it. There's so many players now in just constructing a building.
Correct. Yeah.
Where do you guys come in?
So in technology, on the property management side, I mean, firstly, kudos to the government because what they have done by putting all the tenancy contracts, which is in this city, we call it Ijaris, all of them which were verbal, then moved to handwritten, and then contracts just been stamped by the government. Now they are printed out and issued by the government. So that's actually saved a lot of time for us and made it a little bit easier for us to report to the landlords. So obviously technology has stepped in there. And on the other side, what we are doing is we are developing an app where a landlord can see on a regular basis, almost real time, how's the health of the building, what's the money being gathered, what's sitting in the account, because we are legally permitted to collect rentals on our company name. Very few companies in Dubai are legally allowed to do that. Your trade license allows only a few. So alhamdulillah, we are one of those companies, because when the check comes in, we know that if it's bounced or no. If it's on the landlord's name, maybe he doesn't get that SMS. Maybe he doesn't see it because there are thousands of units. He's like, I can't track what's bounced. So technology is helping us to do that. The app is going to help us to do that. The landlord's going to know that what's happening with the cases. And on the other side, the tenants, they don't need to call a number, wait for someone to respond, or just use a chat engine. They can actually go on the app, tell them these are the issues with the property. So yeah, I mean, that's where AI has stepped in, and I don't know in what other way they can, but at least the reporting has become constant and transparent, and that just builds trust, right? And it's foundation.
It's easier, right?
It's foundation of everything, right?
Now we're not going to get OTP from banks on messages. We're going to get it in apps, so we'll start using the bank apps more.
And if something goes wrong, they have given us a POA that please go and take care of this, figure it out, collect the bounce check, go back to the tenant. If it's a legal case, do the legal case. If there's a genuine issue, sometimes it's as simple as signature mismatch, or there's actually an issue because there have been cases where the tenants are unwell. They are not being able to, replenish their own account, credit their own account with the money, or the salaries got delayed for whatever reason. So, but they come with proofs. They come with bank statements, and we understand. We have to be very pragmatic, human before anything, but then work is work.
Yeah.
So,
This follows on to the very nice segue into the next question, that technological part is one side. How do you manage human expectations, cultural expectations? Because Dubai is like, again, a melting pot of cultures. There's like, I don't know, 170 plus nationalities. How do you know who likes how you talk to them? How do you approach a person? You have to be assertive, you have to show care. That's like very difficult. Technology-wise, I think the app can help, but this, you need humans who understand cultural context.
So, to be very honest, there's a very simple basic training we give our team as well. In fact, I sit through the training lessons where they need to understand these are the different cultures, these are the different nationalities who are in town, and everyone responds very differently. There are a few people, they're like, you know what, give us a contract, we'll go back home and we'll read it. There are a few people, they're like, we want to read it in front of you every page. we have to give that time. There are few who want to actually keep their phone. They're like, we want to record our entire conversation because if something goes wrong, something goes south in future, we are agile. We are approachable. We respect someone's time. We respect their culture. We respect all their questions. And as a lot of people say, there's no question which is stupid. So we tell all our tenants the same thing, all our clients, that whatever doubt you have, ask us. We are here to solve it for you. If we cannot, we'll figure it out for you. And I think being agile and being approachable, transparent, and updating the tenants on a regular basis and understanding their requirements, because most of the cities in the world give, if you're renting an apartment for a year, it's usually 12 checks or 12 payments. But there are very few who have 1 check in the year or 3 checks in a year. So this is not, they don't understand. A lot of tenants don't understand this. They're like, and I'm like, no, the landlord wants this. It's not my requirement. I'm just the property manager. So to explain to them that this is the reason why it works and this is the culture of the city. So yeah, just being, I think agile is, I'm guessing
Very
the most appropriate word here.
What are the most common mistakes? For example, if some landlord comes to you and they want their property managed, just give me like top three FAQs that they should know, that this is what a landlord should know, what to expect from you. It's like explain property management 101 to a landlord who's just coming to you. What should he expect? What questions should he ask?
He should firstly be very honest and transparent about the history of the building or the apartment, if it has any history. Let us know if there are any red flags we need to look at, because if a lot of landlords don't tell us that. Landlords need to know what their property deserves. The government obviously is super by having the RERA, the rental index. But again, they need to understand that if their building is in a particular area where the neighboring buildings are brand new, and if their building is 15 to 18 years, there's an age. It's aged, hopefully gracefully. For them to understand that my 1 bedroom or my 2 bedroom may not fetch the 1 or 2 bedroom which a neighboring building has. So to do a little bit of analysis and a study of the site, letting the landlord know, and they need to trust us that we will do the best for them. And actually, you know what? They need to, but because most of our clients come from word of mouth, because through the decades they understand that you're from a trusted source. So the health of the building, what the building deserves, what better we can do, what are the features which can add or change in the building or the apartment or the villa which can enhance the returns. So every possible question. But they should know they are already trusting us, and they should continue doing that, because then you're on expert hands. So
Perfect. Everyone is looking at Dubai real estate. What do you think is the most important aspect in this? Obviously, we talked about it in the start also. People are coming in, people are buying properties, people are going to rent properties. What, as an overall look, you've been in the market, you are not only property manager, overall, what do you think is the future of Dubai property?
Mazboot. I mean, this is the way they call it in the city strong. It's Mazboot. It's, again, I think I've said this the 3rd time today, but like respect to the people running the country. The way they are evolving, the way they're expanding, the way they are welcoming, the way they are becoming tolerant, the way they are getting to know, and they're updating themselves. So real estate is, as they say, it's stayed now. It's strong. It's not just an adventure. It's not just like, oh, let me have a great time in a theme park of real estate and come back for that temporary adrenaline rush. It's to stay. It's going to scale, and the world is just going to watch. And hopefully jump onto this wagon as well.
Some personal questions, because you started with your father's story, and I'm really intrigued now. What is one lesson that you learned from your father? Because you said in the start that now he doesn't live with me, but he lives inside me. What's that one lesson?
I think being grateful and gratitude. I mean, it's not about using trending words. It's about you're going to feel it. So whatever comes your way is meant for you. Whatever doesn't come, in our languages say, if it's gone, it's bala. It was not meant for you. It was meant for someone else. And be receptive, be accountable to yourself before anything else. Be very humble, because that's the only ground we know. You can go up on whatever floors, but that's the only ground we know. Feel rich rather than looking rich. And just sleep with satisfaction and gratitude. Wake up with beautiful prayers, and just do your. Again, I'm trying to use I'm using words from my my own mother tongue, but like, you do your dharma, like this is your work. You know? You don't know how to dance.
Like
you don't know
religion,
how to sing.
right?
Yeah, and you don't know how to dance or sing or act. You know business. That's how I'm wired. It's in my blood. And that's what I love. Like, I don't go to the office because I have to go. I want to go. I love it. So as long as you're doing that, you're consistent, khalas, leave it to the Almighty. And then it'll shine. If not today, then tomorrow. But just be consistent. Do what you got to do. And again, in general, I don't complain. I don't crib. I'm like, whatever happens is great. And sometimes my team and a few members in my family don't like it, because my reply is, I'll figure it out. They're like, what is it you're going to figure it out? I will figure it out, man. Don't worry. I'll figure it out.
Everything you will figure out. So basically what you're saying is you love your job and you...
I love it. Like, it's... I thoroughly enjoy doing what I'm doing. And I mean, as long as you're consistent at doing what you're doing and your heart is clean, very important. Again, it's something, if your heart is clean, it's only profit in front of you. It's, again, I'm translating this thing. It's called Dil Safa, to Nafa Nafa. So if your heart is clean, then there's only profit in front of you. So there's nothing else. There's no malice, right?
Yeah. So lastly, what's the future for you? For Yogi Real Estate, for Yogi Property Management, for Yogi Group as a whole? What do you look at, like, oh, this is what I want to achieve? Everyone sets goals.
Yeah.
What are your personal goals for the company? Not the company's goals. That everyone knows. We'll visit your website for that.
I mean, I want, and I'm on the way, and I think successfully, alhamdulillah, it's happening, is being a trusted partner.
Yeah.
You know, when it's property, they're like, this is not a company we're appointing, this is a company we're partnering with. You are in safe hands, you're in experienced hands. There is a collective wisdom and experience the company and the team has. And honestly, killing it before thinning it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So Dubai is where we are. We will regionally grow for sure. We are growing, but I want to just kill it in the city where we are the trusted partner, and not forgetting our roots of trust and transparency to our clients. And then we, slowly gravitate towards the other cities. We are already doing that. We are doing a few things in Sharjah and Ajman. Abu Dhabi clients are there. But again, kill it before thinning it. So,
Thank you so much, Ati.
Thank you. Majid.
That was Atinirmal with us. And what I got from the whole chat is a funny comment that he loves his job. He doesn't job his love.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's a nice thesis into how property management is done, what are the most important questions landlords should ask, what the tenants' rights are. If you're joining us in the end, you can always go back on our socials and listen to the whole interview with Ati. We're going to do one more episode with him, and we're going to talk about another one of his ventures. So stay tuned for that. But thank you very much for joining us on the Smashi Business Show today. You can follow us on all social media channels. Wherever you are, we are there as Smashi Business. This is the Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. Thank you to our 2 million plus listeners across every month. You guys make it possible, and people like Ati make it possible who join us on the show. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and we will see you on Monday now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.